Hariom everyone. Today we are going to study about air around us, exploring our atmosphere. Basically in this chapter we will study about the components of air, what is air all about, atmosphere, atmospheric layers, pollution which is caused by air, as well as the uses of air, which we will see in this chapter. So, first of all, as an introduction, we will tell about air around us, exploring our atmosphere. So, here, as we can see, that air, what is air? As we are feeling that air, we cannot see air, but we are feeling, we are taking breath, we are doing respiration, we can see waves like blowing off leaves and blowing off candles when. So what is this? Basically air is such a vital component which is present in the atmosphere. So what is air? So first of all, before studying that what is air, we will study about the atmosphere. So here, as you can see, that our earth is having the layers of atmosphere. Now, what is layers of atmosphere? The atmosphere is divided into five layers, basically troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Each layer has unique characteristics and play a specific role in protecting our planet. As you can see, the earth is surrounded by the invisible rays which we can see here, because this universe is made up of plenty of some invisible components which we cannot see, but we can feel that. So here, first of all, as we are living, you can see that aeroplanes are flying in the sky, and parachutes are also there. So, and you have also heard about the ozone layer, as it is said that the ultraviolet rays which is coming from the sun directly falls on the earth and causes some diseases in humans. So in order to protect, we have universe has given us the ozone layer which is present in the stratosphere region. So the first layer is the troposphere. As you can see, that troposphere basically is near to the earth. In this, the whatever the skyscrapers as well as the aeroplanes, whatever are flying, they are flying in the troposphere region. When we are talking about the stratosphere, we are having the ozone layer which protects us from the ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. The ultraviolet rays are very harmful as it causes skin cancer. Then comes the mesosphere. As you can see that troposphere, stratosphere, and mesosphere. Mesosphere is far away from stratospheric region. Here, the rockets as well as basically this zone is comprises the temperature which is colder as comparison to stratospheric region. Then comes the thermosphere and finally the exosphere. As we are not going in detail about the layers, so we will come to the importance of atmosphere. The importance of atmosphere is that it is crucial for sustaining life on earth. It provides the air we breathe, protects us from harmful solar radiations, and regulates our planet's temperature. So going further, we will study about composition of air. As we can see that we are living in the earth. So here the composition of air which we can see, which is prescribed by our eminent scientists, they have given the percentage of air composition. The first percentage, the maximum, the abundant percentage of element which is present, the gas which is present in the atmosphere is the nitrogen. So nitrogen, the most abundant gas in our atmosphere, because it helps in the plant growth as well as it is the key component of amino acids. Now, when we talk about the amino acids, then as it is the chemical component which is present in the basically when plants are doing the process of nitrogen cycle, then they are obviously there are many ammonifying and nitrifying bacteria which are present in the nodules of root of plants, and what they are capturing, they are capturing the atmospheric. It is by they are doing it by themselves, and not every bacteria, but they are comprising few bacteria which are doing this process of nitrogen cycle. So that is why they are, as you can see, the earth is almost covered with number of plants, green plants. So that is why they are using this nitrogen. So in atmosphere it is 78%, and all our plants are consuming that in order to maintain the nitrogen cycle. Next is the oxygen, which is 21%, vital for respiration in most living organisms. Oxygen is crucial in life as we know it. Now, what is respiration? Respiration is the chemical process by which the living organisms take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. And basically, it is that process which helps breakdown of food materials. Whatever humans are consuming, animals are consuming. So this oxygen is in the atmosphere, it is 21%. Now we come to other gases. Other gases are basically including carbon dioxide, neon, helium, methane, water vapor, each playing unique roles in the atmosphere. These gases are in rare amount, because as we can see, these gases are not at all useful for the living organism. So the percentage of other gases is 0.07%. Now comes the argon. Argon, as we can see in our the bulbs, the artificial, the light man-made resources of luminous bodies like bulbs, light bulbs, and welding machines, they are using argon gases. They are very light in weight. Now, the importance of air. As you can see, the importance of air is very important in our life, because it helps for the survival of humans as well as living organisms, which includes humans as well as animals. So, air provides oxygen for respiration, essential for survival of humans, animals, and many other organisms, many microorganisms which are doing aerobic respiration. That is that will you will be studying in the higher classes. So basically, for now you can only study about that. For the breathing purpose, taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide is known as breathing. Now comes the photosynthesis. Now, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is that process, the food making process, which green plants are doing with the help of sunlight. And what they are taking in, they are the plants, the green plants consist of chlorophyll in their leaves, which are taking water, carbon dioxide, as well as sunlight, and preparing food for plants. And then they are giving out oxygen in the atmosphere. This is the only process which is very important for the survival, for the fresh air which the living organisms are taking in. Now comes the climate regulation. Air helps regulate Earth's temperature by trapping heat and distributing around the planet. As you can see, the climate regulation is very important. If there is no air, then survival will be impossible, because every living organisms need air for breathing and respiration. Now comes the protection. The atmosphere shields us from harmful solar radiation and most meteorites. The atmospheric layer, which I already discussed in the first slide, why these atmospheric layers are important? Because this universe, like space, is filled with many meteoroids, comets, and very harmful gases. If these are directly coming to the earth, then it will definitely cause some kind of harmful effects on the earth vegetation. So basically, these atmospheric layer helps us protecting earth and the living organisms from the solar radiation, like ultraviolet rays and many other harmful gases which are trapped in the stratosphere region. So air is truly the lifeblood of our planet, playing crucial roles in various aspects of life and earth system. Now, properties of air. As you can see that we cannot see air, but we are feeling it. So now, when it comes that why, what is air and how we can feel it, then we can see the properties of air. In every way, we can see that while we are drinking water, water is composed of the two basic elements, hydrogen and oxygen. And there also you can see that air is present. So here we will discuss about properties of air. So first thing, properties of air: occupies space. Air takes space even though we can't see it. This property is evident when we inflate a balloon or feel wind pushing against us. The very simple example which we can give is of balloon. You can see the balloon, when we are inflating it, the balloon is getting bigger in size. So why it is getting bigger in size? Because air is occupying space in it. So this experiment proved that air we cannot see air, but when we are blowing from our mouth, then it is getting larger in size. So this experiment proves that air occupies space, and as you can see that when the wind is blowing, their hairs are blowing, or the winds are blowing, the trees are going waving. So these basically shows that air occupies some space. Air has mass, although air is very lightweight. If we will blow from our mouth to, to our hand, we can see that there is some kind of pressure. Although it feels lightweight, air does have mass. This can be demonstrated by weighing inflated and deflated balloon. We will take two balloons, one inflated and one deflated. We will put it on the scale, and when we will balance that, you can see the inflated balloon will go little bit down, and this shows that there is some weight which is there of air. Now, exertion of pressure. Air exerts pressure. Air pressure is the force exerted by the weight of air molecules. It varies with altitude and weather condition. One experience I can give, that when I went to Missouri, I went to above that high altitude of 1200 meters. There I have found that in Dhanolti, I found that the atmospheric pressure was such that I found the packets of chips, the Lay's and Uncle Chips packets, they were highly inflated. So at that time, I was experienced that air has got so much pressure that those were inflated, quite bigger in size. So as we are going in high altitude, we are seeing that because of weight of air molecules, the pressure is being exerted. Now comes expansion and contraction. Air expands when heated and contracts when cool, which is principle behind the air balloon. As we can see, when we blow the balloon, you see the size is bigger. So it means that expansion is there, balloon is expanding, and contraction means when the air is left out, then it is contraction. So these are the properties of air. Okay. Now we will come to the air pollution and its effect. As you can see that there are pollution is basically the unwanted particles which comes in the environment. So what is that? The sources of pollution, basically everybody knows that from the vehicles, emission, industrial pollution, burning of fossil fuels and agricultural activities. All these are the important, I mean, these you can say the various components which are responsible for polluting the air. So types of pollutants basically are the nitrogen oxide, sulfur. These are some gases which are harmful, which the living organisms cannot consume. So basically these are the harmful gases. Those gases which living organisms cannot consume comes under the category of harmful gases. Basically these gases affects the health. Basically, they jam the respiratory problems. So they cause respiratory problems, cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases, as well as health issues in humans and animals. Environmental impact of air pollution will be: pollution contributes to climate change, acid rain, damage to ecosystem and biodiversity. As you can see that in Agra, there's the Taj Mahal. It was getting yellowish. That monument was getting yellowish. Why? Because that the sulfur dioxide gas, which is the most polluted gas, comes from the industry, and it was creating the effect on the marble of Taj Mahal. So that is the, if you can see that monuments are getting some kind of faded results, then humans are definitely getting all these health effects. So basically air pollution is very crucial, and that is why governments are taking so many actions in order to improve the pollution. Nowadays you can see CNG vehicles and electric vehicles are being manufactured in order that air atmosphere should be neat and clean. Now, reducing air pollution, there are basically the clean energy, as I already discussed. Use clean energy, transition to renewable energy sources, like basically the best source of energy you can see is the solar energy and the wind power to reduce emission from fossil. The carbon which is coming from the fossil, the burning process gives lot of carbon dioxide which is harmful in the atmosphere. So basically the clean energies are the best sources of reducing air pollution. You can see the solar energy, how the windmills and the solar plates are taking in the solar energy and then converted into electricity, and they are making our atmosphere neat and clean. And promote public transit, electric vehicles, cycling to decrease. Basically you can see cycling helps in our health benefits as well as it helps in our body maintenance also. Industrial regulation, enforce strict air qualities to control. There are many checks which are being there by the government so that industry should not produce so much waste materials as well as pollution. Individual action, conserve energy, reduce waste and make eco-friendly choices in daily to life to contribute in cleaning the air. So these are basically the steps which government has already taken in order to clean the environment. Now air is dissolved in water. This is the simple experiment which everybody can see in their daily life. When we put bottle dipped in the water tub or anything, you see bubbles coming out. So this experiment proves that air is dissolved in water, and there are many aquatic marine animals how they are surviving underwater because air water is having dissolved oxygen in it, and that is why the aquatic and the marine animals are able to survive under the water. The amount of dissolved oxygen in water depends on the factor like temperature, pressure and the salinity. Salinity is the amount of salt dissolved in the water, and you see that marine water cause highest component of what salinity, salt in it. Importance of aquatic life. Dissolved oxygen is essential for survival of fish, plants, and microorganisms. It supports respiration and decomposition processes. Low levels of dissolved oxygen can lead to fish kills and ecosystem imbalances. Now, what does this mean? That it supports respiration and dissolved oxygen. If the oxygen is not dissolved in the water, then what will happen? There will be difficult in the survival for the aquatic animals to live in water. So that is why for that the oxygen needs to be there in atmosphere as well as under the sea, underwater. Low levels of dissolved oxygen can definitely lead to death of the aquatic animals. Now, oxygen cycle, the balancing of in the atmosphere is done by the oxygen cycle. Plants are taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Then again, that carbon dioxide coming to plants, they are converting with the help of photosynthesis, giving out carbon oxygen. That oxygen is taken up by the living organisms and they are giving carbon dioxide. So this process is going in circular form, and this is known as oxygen cycle. Photosynthesis, atmospheric exchange, and then respiration, and then decomposition. If any body which is dead, then what will happen? The bacteria, that scavengers which we call the vultures, crow, those animals or which are or microorganisms which are feeding on the dead and decaying organisms are known as scavengers, and the microorganisms are known as decomposers. So they are what they are doing, they are just eating those dead bodies and dead animals, and then they are breaking them, and that liberation of carbon dioxide and the gases which are coming are taking up by the plants, and this whole process comes under the oxygen cycle, which is a biogeochemical cycle that describes the movement of oxygen within and between the earth three main reservoir: atmosphere, biosphere and lithosphere. Atmosphere, the blanket of gases which are present near the earth, and the biosphere comprises of whole atmosphere, and lithosphere where the land, which basically land and sea is biosphere, and this complete land part is lithosphere. The continuous cycle ensures a steady supply for oxygen for life on earth. So basically this oxygen cycle is very important. Now conclusion is our responsibility to the air. Air is essential. If we will not take air, what we will do? We will die, because our body is made up of millions of cells and they contain nucleus, which is a basic thing of the cell part is nucleus, which needs air in. And that is why humans and every living organism needs air for its survival. Facing challenges, we cannot take other gases which are harmful to our body. So this is basically the threat for our health. Complex, the atmosphere is complex system. We cannot, everybody cannot learn about atmospheric layer. For that, each and every layer is to be studied, that you will study in the higher classes. Taking action, each of us, we, every human has got responsibility to protect and preserve our environment. Why? Because if the environment is fresh and clean, then we will be able to survive, because our body and every living organism needs fresh air in order to survive. As we conclude our exploration of the air around us, let us remember that the quality of air directly impacts the quality of our lives. By understanding its importance and taking steps to protect it, we ensure healthier, cleaner future for our planet. You, for good health, for good body, you can do exercises of yoga, asanas, pranayam. This will definitely improve your health benefits. Thank you.